What did I tell you going into last night? It would be Batman's revenge. That if the NBA won't punish Tyler Hansbrough for cutting Dwayne Wade over his eye, then Dwayne Wade will take it out on Tyler Hansbrough's team on the scoreboard, which is exactly what he did. He restored order in this series. You know it. And what are you looking for now? Are you going to text LeBron?
I wrote some notes down. I'm looking it up. Keep on talking, Skip. I wrote down some notes in my BlackBerry just for you. Keep going.
I'm going to say this one more time, and I want you to listen very carefully while you look up your notes.
I'm listening.
The Miami Heat and LeBron James will go only as far as Dwayne Wade carries the Miami Heat and LeBron James. He is, and forever was, Batman. He is the mentally toughest on this team. He is the guts of this team. And for the last 5 halves of basketball against the Pacers, he said, that's enough of your trash talking and your fake tough guy. He just said, stop it, because I'm going to take this over the way you've never seen anybody take over. And Stephen A., last night, you don't think that was some special stuff? 17 of 25 on an array of jumpers and drives that just dropped your jaw. 10 rebounds for little Dwayne Wade, who's only about 6'4". 41 points in crunch time, money time, when you got to do it when you're down 13-3 in what was going to be the closeout game. You didn't want to have to go mess with these guys back in Miami and take another pound of flesh out of you as you get ready for Boston or maybe Philadelphia, and we'll talk about that later.
Right.
So what happened? Batman said, it is my turn to take over, and LeBron James went along last night for a pretty good ride.
Well, first of all, when we talk about LeBron James going along, last time I checked, that's what he came to South Beach to do. Go along.
Okay, I'll buy that.
So you know what he said? To go along and to have Dwayne Wade finish the deal. I'm not going to sit up here and discredit Dwayne Wade and act like this dude ain't a superstar. I've been saying all along, I wanted the superstar to return. I wanted Dwayne Wade to respond to the questions about him because of his durability and because of the fact that he had deferred to LeBron James too much. Yeah. I've been imploring him. How long have I been sitting in this chair imploring Dwayne Wade to step up and stop deferring, that you are a superstar too? We need to see that from you. But I would like to point out a couple of facts that I threw out there, had research, look it up for me and make sure.
You actually did some homework here.
I always do homework, baby. To go up against the great Skip Bayless, you got to be prepared now. Here's the facts. Heat stretched the lead from 68 to 66 to 79-69, okay? Why did that happen? With Wade on the bench, LeBron James scored or assisted on 9 of the next 11, of that 11-point run. That's number one. Number two.
They were hitting some threes
from 90,
in
No,
there.
no, I just said he scored or assisted.
Okay.
From 97 to 91 to 103 to 91. It was LeBron's personal 6-point run, if I recall correctly. That was LeBron James. Usually it's the other way around. So in this particular situation, what happens with LeBron James? He carried, Wade finished. Now, last night, 41 points, 20 points in the second quarter. We look at a guy like Dwayne Wade, we understand this is the superstar we've been waiting for because we have not seen that much of him. Are we willing to concede that?
I would buy that, but it hadn't been time yet. It's now time.
Whoa. It was always time, because the point that I'm trying to make to you is that somebody had to carry the load. All I'm trying to say to you is, let's not use Dwayne Wade's obvious greatness, okay? And we all know how great he can be, and we all know how great he can close. He's a killer. That's what he is. But let's not just use that as a means and an excuse to discredit and diminish the impact of LeBron James. Listen, I have said it before. I love how you try to twist it, because see, the Joker being the Joker that you are, you twist this stuff all the time, but I'm not going to let you get away with it.
The Joker knows Batman.
Here's what you do. Here's what you do. What you try to do is you try to take a subject and switch it around and just mingle it up to work to your advantage. That's what you do. You do it all the time, but it's not going to work here, Skip Bayless, okay?
Oh, you're too smart for me.
I have said, actually I am.
Yeah.
Actually, I have said on many occasions that LeBron James, nothing matters. He's got to get the chip. That doesn't mean that we put on blinders and we act like we don't see what he's doing en route to that. The Final Four of the playoffs it'll be finished by, we'll know tomorrow night whether it's Boston or Philadelphia.
Yeah.
But we do know definitively that the Miami Heat are going to be in that Final Four for the second consecutive year. There are still games to be played, and LeBron James is playing in them. So you got to give credit where credit is due and stop trying to use the greatness of others to rob LeBron James of what he did.
No, wait, to put it back into perspective, the three-time MVP,
That's right. That's
including
right.
the newest MVP?
That's
Are
right.
you kidding me?
That's right. Why am I kidding you?
Okay.
Why?
The question was, you just asked me a question. Did this prove once and for all that Dwayne Wade is the Batman, the alpha leader of this team?
He's the closer.
It's the obvious.
He's the closer.
Yes.
Well, let me ask you a question. Let me
You
ask
admit it.
May I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Let's use the baseball analogy here.
You?
Come on now. When it comes to my Yankees, come on now. I challenge anybody to tell me they know more about the Yankees than me. Mariano Rivera, is he not the closer? I mean, this year he's hurt.
Used to be,
he's hurt, but I'm just saying. 42 years of age, future Hall of Famer, 600 plus saves in his career, greatest closer of all time, without question. Isn't he a closer?
Yeah.
What is Jeter? The captain. What is Jeter? The dude that's out there every single night, pretty much, balling every single night, leading his team on the field, in the clubhouse, et cetera, et cetera. So what I'm trying to say to you is that there is absolutely nothing wrong with saying that Dwayne Wade is Batman, that Dwayne Wade's a killer, that Dwayne Wade is a closer, but at the same time, LeBron James' role is just as significant as it, because you got to get to the point with closer. I'll even go a step further for you, just to make you happy, because I know this subject makes you smile. Tim Tebow. When he closed, when he showed his clutch gene,
he's got a big one.
When he showed the it factor and all of these other superlatives that you want to throw out there about him. Well, what did it take to get him to the point where he had to close? Somebody else had to contribute. That defense had to play a role in order to keep him within striking distance so he could close. That doesn't diminish everybody else. You give him his props where it's due, but you don't do it at the expense of greatness surrounding it. And that's what you need to do with LeBron.
You just compared the game of basketball that you contend that you know
baseball,
better.
football, blah, blah, blah.
You can't compare baseball and football to basketball because clearly way more people play in baseball and especially in football.
I was using the analogy of a closer as opposed to something else, not the sport itself, just closing.
But Mariano Rivera doesn't play every inning of every game, right?
I understand that.
So he's not a Dwayne Wade because he can't contribute as much as Dwayne Wade does, right?
And I'm telling you that Dwayne Wade, even though he can play multiple minutes, still needs LeBron James to carry him to that point. It was last night. Let me tell you something right now. Dwayne Wade has his performance in Game 5. The Miami Heat are struggling. They're down 2-1. Who has been the most consistent player throughout the series? That has been LeBron.
Oh, easy.
The closer has been D. Wade.
Okay.
What's the problem? What's the problem with that? Last time I checked, that's what he came to South Beach for.
When it was time for Batman to rise, it was the second half of Game 4, and you tell me, were they not in trouble at this point of going down 1 to 3 games, right?
They were in trouble.
At Indy, and Dwayne Wade snaps out of a 2 for 13 the previous game, 2 pretty poor games by his standards in games 1 and 2, and a 1 for 8 start in that game, and says, watch this. Those were the money points that he scored in the second half of Game 4 at Indianapolis. That turned this series around. You know it, and I know it.
I'm not denying it.
So in the big picture, the points are scored by Dwayne Wade. Points, a lot of points and a lot of rebounds, a lot of assists go to LeBron James. And that's, you can argue that's sort of the mortar of all this, but the bricks, the one, and I don't mean shooting bricks, but I mean the gold bricks here, they're Dwayne Wade.
I'm just trying to educate you about one salient point, and that is this. At the end of the day, in a perfect world for the Miami Heat, LeBron James does what he does, and D. Wade closes. That's the recipe for a championship with the Miami Heat. And as far as I'm concerned, particularly over these last 3 games, that Dwayne Wade has exploded, these last 2.5 quarters, the two and a half games. What we have seen is exactly that. LeBron James carrying, D. Wade closing. That's the recipe for success. It is indisputable, Skip.
Would you believe I'm going to go this far? In the last 5 halves of Miami Heat basketball, I think Dwayne Wade has played the greatest basketball of his entire career, which is why I'm not going to back off yet my pick of Heat to win it all, even over my Spurs.